Hey everybody, so today what I want to do is I want to talk about music, and specifically we're going to talk about where DJs get their music from. And there are so many different sources today. Some of you are already using different streaming services to get some of your music, but I want to talk specifically today about being able to download MP3s. And I know that might sound archaic. I know that might sound very 2010 to be downloading music, but as DJs, still at this moment in time, at the time of recording this, streaming does exist inside of many of these DJ softwares, but it's not super reliable. You're still relying on the strength of the Wi-Fi. If you don't have Wi-Fi or you have a whack Wi-Fi signal, then what do? You need to have the actual MP3. Also, for some of you are like me, in which I want to download the MP3 and I want to probably re-edit that MP3. I want to throw it into Ableton. I want to make my own short edit version of it. I want to remix it. There's different things that I want to do. So I'm also looking for tools, extended versions, instrumental versions, acapellas, all of that stuff. And you're not going to find that on Tidal. You're not going to find that on SoundCloud, even BeatSource and Beatport. You're not going to find it on those streaming platforms. So we are talking about digital record pools. I just want to give you a quick little background when it comes to record pools, because I think this will help you understand what also is available on record pools. So record pools were, a real resource for DJs back when we were using vinyl records, right? So a song would come out and DJs would need to go to the actual physical record store, find records, physical records that you wanted to buy, and you bought this record for $6 a single, or $12.99 for the album, or they used to have these DJ compilation records, which, real quick, I used to distribute all of those records. Earlier in my career, I ran a distribution company where we would distribute records all over the world. Anyways, you can ask me about that later, but I want to stay focused on what the record pool was. So if you were a bigger radio DJ or a bigger club DJ, the record company was like, well, we don't want to rely on this big DJ having to go to the record store and buy this new single from our artist. We want to make sure that this DJ is able to help even break this song. So they made promotional copies of the vinyl records, and you'll see this on some of these records. If you go and dig at your local record store, you may see on the label of the record, it might say for promotional use only. Those were promo records that were given to record pools in order for the record pool to distribute to the major DJs. The difference, though, between then and now was that these were physical copies. So they only made, let's say, 300 promo copies of those records. Those went to the top 300 DJs in the country, and those were who got serviced the record first, as an exchange for helping to break the song, and also maybe providing some feedback on the song. So anyways, this was something that you wanted to be a part of, and not everybody got to be a part of it. So you had to fill out an application. There were only so many slots in a record pool because they only had so many records. So they usually were in like 30 or 60. 90 was a huge record pool. Usually they would be smaller, like a 30-person record pool, because the records came in boxes of 30. So anyways, all of this to be said, the reason why I'm telling you this history lesson is because sometimes when I first start presenting record pools to newer DJs, sometimes newer DJs are a little bit disappointed that there's not every song inside of the record pool, or why there's not a ton of older music inside of the record pools. And that's because still to this day, the deal with these record companies for these record pools is, hey, your artist has a new single, get that single to us in a digital copy form. We've got 2,000 DJs that are a part of this record pool, and we will put it up on the record pool available for them to download as promotion, essentially, right? And so that is a bit of the deal. Whereas like the song from 20 years ago, Wu-Tang Clan from 20 years ago, that's not gonna be in the record pool, right? So it's gonna be a little bit harder to find those. So again, I just want to set your expectation. Not everything is going to be in the record pool. Most of the newer music would be in the record pool. Most pools lean a little bit more commercial than underground. So if you're looking for something very, very specific, you may not find it in the pool. But this is a great resource, especially for those of you who are looking to do more gigs, looking to have some of that commercial music that you know you're going to need to have if you're doing a wedding, if you're doing any type of event, if you're doing a bar or a nightclub. This is a great resource for you, and it's unlimited downloads. So let's jump in. I want to look at 4 record pools today that I think are really awesome. There are way more than 4 record pools out there, so I encourage you to do a bit of research on your own as well. Ultimately, my suggestion would be that you belong to at least 1 record pool. If you are trying to expand your library, if you are trying to be able to say yes to potential gigs. So let's jump in. I want to look at the first one up. I want to look at BPM Supreme. So let's jump in here. I got Coach Brian in the studio with me today. Brian, do we have my screen up? They can see it? Okay, awesome. All right, so here we go. BPM Supreme. I'm on the home page. I'm only going to go through a couple of features for each record pool because otherwise we'll be here forever. Some of the things that I like about BPM Supreme, this is a small one, but it does make a difference. I've got the ability to switch between light and dark mode. That's pretty cool. That's up here. They also have an app, so I can look at music on the app on my phone and start to add things to my record crate, essentially. That's right here. And as I add songs to my record crate, then when I get to my computer, I can download them as a batch. Very cool feature. And there's all these different tabs, so scratch tools, curated sets. I really like curated sets. I actually did a few curated sets a while back for BPM Supreme. I don't even know if they're still up here. But they do have, you can see that, from the Versus series, they've got some stuff. Here's some club sets, so Dance Music Festival, Headlining Festival, Year End 2020, so Viral 2020, International. So they're just like playlists. But these are pretty good, right? So like, let's say I want to click on brunch. All right, so this is a curated set for brunch. And you can see SZA, Good Old Days, Earth Gang, Troye Sivan, Olivia Rodrigo, so some different tracks. Now, this is a recent feature inside of BPM Supreme, which I really like here. In addition to just being able to see the track, not only do you see the track and you see these different versions, so our intro clean and our intro dirty, these are gonna have 8-bar instrumental intros on them, which that's awesome. Anytime you see quick hit is gonna be like a shorter version. Right? Clean is without the cursing, dirty has the cursing, instrumental, no vocals, just the instrumental version. Occasionally you might find an acapella. Those sometimes are a little bit harder to come by. But let's look at this Good Old Days SZA. So if I want to click on it, I can start playing it. You'll see it's playing on the very bottom. So I can preview the track. And it's like, okay, if I like this, now I can click on clean down here and I can now hit download. And this is going to download. And a lot of times I'm downloading the intro version. Sometimes I'm also downloading the original. If I hit the plus sign, that's going to go into my record crate and I can download as a batch. But what I was going to say is the thing that I really like that they just added were these moods. Chilled, ethereal, right? So they've labeled things by mood, which is kind of cool. So if I click on chilled, this is now going to bring up other things that are under this chilled. So this is great in terms of music discovery and trying to find some songs that might be interesting. I also try to make it a rule to not download too much in a sitting, because remember, all these songs that you download, you're going to need to also figure out and map out. Let's take a song that's super popular. Let's take Dua Lipa. I'm just going to type in Dua Lipa, super popular artist. Okay, so the other thing that you'll see is that you'll see these remixes. So this is a Music Junkies Moombahton remix, and you can see that this is exclusive. So this is exclusive here to BPM Supreme. You might find some other Moombahton remixes on other record pools, but you probably won't find this Music Junkies Moombahton remix on other record pools. So, each pool sort of has their different exclusive editors and remixers that create content for the pool, which is another huge benefit for looking for music on record pools, is you're gonna find a lot of like different versions. Like for instance, this is Levitating with All Night. So let's listen to this, see what this is. So this is like a straight up mashup, meaning that it's one a cappella and a different instrumental. The original song is at 103 beats per minute, I think 103, 104 beats per minute, and this is up at 124, and now is more housey. So that's pretty cool. So like, let's say I wanted that. I'm gonna hit Clean Extended, and it's gonna start downloading. There it is, it started downloading to my computer. Now, the other really cool feature here is I could hit Find Similar, and then it's going to search the record pool for similar tracks. And you can see uplifting, happy, and these are all housey sort of beats. Most of them are. Most of them are like house-based songs. So yeah, you have these genres and moods, scratch tools. There's also a BPM TV section, which, let's see, I think some of our content is actually in here somewhere, maybe. Let's see, that's like a live thing. Yeah, we have some DJ Coach content in here somewhere. But anyways, you can check that out. You know, that's a part of your subscription that you're paying for, is that you can, you know, see this BPM TV stuff. So there's some cool content in here. All right, so there you have it. We've got BPM Supreme. That is one of them. Before we move on, I do want to say this. Again, I want to reiterate that you know, you should shop around a little bit for record pools. This is going to be a recurring charge. It's going to be something that you use quite a lot because new music comes out all the time. And as a DJ, that's a huge part of it. We need to make sure that we have new music, that we have, you know, great versions of songs. And honestly, in my library, I would say that probably, I don't know, probably at least 80% of my library is from record pools. And not just from one record pool, but from multiple record pools. So yeah, just keep that in mind, that a bulk of your music is probably gonna come from record pools as you start to build up your library. All right, great. Let's move on. Let's go to another one. I'm going to jump over here to DJ City. So this is DJ City. And DJ City has some really great content. Some of you may already be familiar with DJ City. Did Siri think I said Siri? She's always listening. It's a trip. All right, so DJ City is a great record pool as well. It started as a record pool. It became this source of content. They've recently merged with a new music source called BeatSource, which is a part of the Beatport umbrella, but they do still have the DJ City record pool. I've got a lot of friends at all of these different sites that I'm showing you here today. So I do want to show you DJ City because DJ City is really awesome. This was probably the first record pool that I belonged to. Not probably, this was the first record pool that I belonged to. They've since done a pretty major overhaul to the website. We've got DJ City exclusives here on the bottom. This is a really great space to find, again, some of that exclusive content. I've also found that their most popular section has been really helpful. Like sometimes I don't have a ton of time. When I jump on a record pool, I'll jump over to most popular. I'll kind of check out what is in this top 15, listen to some of these tracks, see if I, you know, resonate with any of them, and then start downloading. And yeah, it's sort of similar to, you know, BPM Supreme and some of the other record pools. You can sort by genre, right? So these are new releases, and you can sort by genre. You can add things to a crate. You can search by BPM. You can search by key sometimes. All right, so here's, let's say, there's also this, I do want to point this out. There's these like transition tracks where it goes from like 120 BPM down to 88 BPM, and a DJ or a producer actually made that, right? So that's a bit different. And you're not going to find that on on any of the streaming services, right? You're gonna find this though inside of the record pools. I also really like this. They have a really strong UK presence, DJ City does. And so sometimes for me, I like to be able to, I travel, well, it's been a while, we're still in the pandemic right now, but I like to get out and travel over to Europe, travel to Asia. And so I like to see just like what's popular in those different parts of the world. And you know, being able to see this like Chip song, there's like multiple Chip songs that are here in the top, you know, what is this, the top 30 songs. And to be honest, I've never really heard of Chip. So I'm being introduced to new artists even here inside of the record pool. Same with like being able to switch over to Asia and be able to see like, I mean, this is even written in, that's like written in kanji or like Japanese right here. And I don't even know what this is, but it's in this hip hop genre, which is dope, right? So learning about new music in other parts of the world, like I feel like DJ City has a really great global presence on that side. And it's a really great resource to be able to look at in here. So DJ City also has a desktop app now and also has a mobile app as well, and is just great. They also have this like your recommendations. So based on what kind of music you like, they can then use their AI to be able to tell you what they think you would also like and then be able to download. And again, this like most popular or like these playlists, same thing, right? They've got these like playlists. And actually, I will say this is a really great resource too, where it's broken up all here in like these different categories. And you know, here's like Afro beats and dance hall. And you can get in and just start to listen to this and then maybe download right from there. So great resource. DJ City is an awesome one. I highly recommend checking that out as well. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I believe the initial commitment to the DJ City pool is 3 months. So you have to jump in with a 3-month commitment. Don't quote me on that. They may have changed that. And, you know, like I said, I mean, I think it's worth checking out all of these different ones. And you may find that you might belong to a record pool for 3 months and then decide you want to try something else. I mean, I do that with my streaming platforms. Like, I'd like to switch it up. And, you know, maybe I'm, in fact, currently, I'm unsubscribed to Netflix. Because at some point in time, I was just like, man, I feel like I'm always looking for something to watch on Netflix. So I stopped my thing on Netflix. I still have my Prime. I've got my, what else do I have? Do I have HBO right now or one of those? I have Disney, because I've got kids. And then, you know, I'll maybe go back on Netflix in a month or two. So same with this, you know, you can switch it up a bit. All right, I want to look at 2 more record pools before we wrap this up. Let's jump over to Direct Music Service. So Direct Music Service, also called DMS for short. DMS has been around for a long time as well, and they've got a ton of great content that they put in here. To be honest, one of the things that I like the most about DMS is they have quite a bit of the older stuff. So I can sometimes find some of the older tracks inside of DMS where I'm not maybe finding that as much inside of, let's say, DJ City. I'm finding a bit more of the older stuff inside of DMS. So it's definitely interesting to see what's in these different pools. As a whole, I feel like DMS has more mashups and less full-on remixes. And the way that DMS is organized, you can see this even now. They have, it's like 1 song per line. So whereas DJ City and BPM Supreme, like here's the song, and then you have the ability to download the clean or the dirty within that line. This, it takes up multiple lines. And most of the tracks on DMS already have intros on them. So even though it just says clean or dirty, most of these have intros already. So they don't separate between intros and not intros. In fact, yeah, it's rare to find songs that don't have an intro on DMS. I think for DMS, when they don't have an intro, it says like slam edit or something like that. Drop in, yeah. Drop in where, let's see. Let's play it. Right. So that just started a cappella, whereas this Right, this has an 8-bar intro on it. So it doesn't say extended or intro on it. It just is assumed that it's an intro version unless you see this like drop in there. The DMS also has an app. DMS also, you can connect to Dropbox through their app, which is really dope. So as you select songs that you want, you can add them to your Dropbox, and then you can go to Dropbox. And some of you know that I'm already using Dropbox as a backup and organization tool. If you are using Dropbox as well, like that can be a really cool thing because it's one less step to have to do because it goes straight into Dropbox, which I like. The other thing that I think is here is DMS has a really strong country category. So if you're into country music, and by the way, BPM Supreme has a really strong country category too. So if you're into certain genres, some of these different pools might be a little bit better than others. Yeah. Honestly, I think a lot of people that are on DMS are also doing more corporate, private gigs, more wedding gigs. It's a little less of the club DJ audience and a little bit more of this like wider base and a little bit more mainstream. So that's what I tend to find in DMS. I'm not saying that everybody that's on DMS is not a club DJ, because there's a ton of tracks in here too that are great club records in here as well. So they also have a blog. They also have this like playlist section with like curated playlists. Yeah, great resource to have in direct music service. All right, last but not least, and again, I just want to remind you, there are more record pools than the 4 that I'm showing you here today, but I'm showing you my favorite 4 ones that I've come across. This is Headliner Music Club. Headliner was built by friends of mine who are essentially Vegas DJs. And so a lot of it is very club heavy and club and festival heavy. And so this is a great resource for that. Again, not saying that you need to be a club DJ in order to find tracks that you would play on Headliner. To be honest, I think that most of the edits that I hear on Headliner are typically a bit more my taste than some of the edits that I hear on BPM Supreme or DJ City or Direct Music Service. And that's no knock to any of those pools, because I download a ton of edits from all those other pools as well. But Headliner has just some great edits, really thoughtful, really well done, and fit for my style and like what my ear picks up on, which again, everybody's a little bit different. So a couple things that I really like about Headliner here are their playlists. I feel like their playlists are super strong. Particularly, like I love their their dance playlist. I mean, I play a lot of dance music, and their dance playlists are usually really good. They've got a good mix of like these HMC edits, which these are some of their exclusive edits. So with them, you have to go in and you rank things.
I think about the girl all the time. East side to the west side, pushing fat rise. It's no surprise. No diggity, I'm not to bag it up. I like the way you work it. No diggity, I'm not to
This is cool.
I like the way you work it. No diggity, I'm not to bag it up. I like the way you work it. No diggity, I'm not to bag it up.
Yeah, I like this. Okay, so I'm gonna download that right now while we're here so I don't forget. Do you want to allow? Yes, I want to allow. Okay, so it's downloading. All right, great. So I just wanted to show this to you because there's so many different options when it comes to record pools. Honestly, the thing that I want to keep reiterating, and it's the same with any type of DJ equipment, is there are more similarities than differences. So I don't want you to get so caught up in like, they're so different. In fact, most of them are going to be pretty similar in terms of, when a new song comes out, when a new Drake song comes out, you're going to find that Drake song on all of these different record pools. The remixes or the in-house remixes or in-house edits are going to be slightly different with each of these record pools, but the main track you're going to find on all of these pools, and the main remixes that are put out by the label. You're gonna find that on all of these different record pools also. The main difference would be some of these more creative edits and things like that you would find maybe on this one versus that one. And again, I just want to encourage you to explore this. This is going to be a huge resource for you, a huge source of where your music comes from. And I will also say this is very important. Do not just go in and download everything. And I know that because it's like, oh, it's unlimited downloads, I should just go in and download everything. It's actually going to make your life more difficult if you just start downloading everything. And I am guilty of being a hoarder when it comes to music as well. And I've had to really be very deliberate and very focused about what I actually go in and download so that I don't just accumulate a bunch of tracks that I will essentially never play. And I know what you're thinking, but one day I might want to play that. Yeah, but when you do, you'll find it again. And you'll go on the pool and you'll find it again, or you'll go and download it from, whatever, iTunes or whatever. So I don't want you to think like, oh, I need to download all of this here, because it's actually really going to make your life much more difficult in the end. I've warned you. If you want it, I can't stop you from doing it. If you want to do that, that's completely up to you, but I highly recommend against it. So I hope this was helpful for you. This was us kind of breaking down some of the record pools, us giving you a little bit of history as well about where the record pools originated. So hopefully you have a better understanding of what you might find in a pool versus what you might not find. Again, this is not going to be your only source of music, and you are still going to have to buy songs. And I want to urge you, if you like this artist, if you want to support this artist, especially some of these underground artists, buy their music, or even better, forge a relationship with some of these artists that are out there. Find them on SoundCloud. Follow them on SoundCloud. Send them a direct message as well and ask for like a DJ edit of their single. Start a relationship. Start this communication channel. You're a DJ. You're going to help promote their song. Like, that's of value to an artist that's out there, especially somebody who's in the underground who's still kind of coming up. So, and I still do that to this day, reaching out to remixers, reaching out to artists, and being able to establish a relationship, being able to get music that way too. So again, I hope you found this helpful. We'll see you on the next one.